As housing affordability became the #1 burning topic in New Zealand, boomers have hammered away at this idea that first home buying millennials just need to take more responsibility, save hard, manage spending, etc. And so we have this avocado on toast meme that so poignantly encapsulates the struggle of a generation. We know that housing prices have risen sharply over the past few years in particular, but did the boomers still have a point? What kind of changes would it take to our spending habits to catch a rung of the property ladder? Or are we basically just screwed for now, at least until prices come down and wage inflation catches up? Let's dive in and have a look. New Zealand does in fact have the most expensive real house prices in the OECD, also showing the sharpest increase since 2000, with house prices almost tripling in the last 20 years. The bad news for first home buyers is that it looks like the problem is getting worse, with a recent Bloomberg study in 2021 showing New Zealand with the highest price to rent ratio, price to income ratio, annual real price growth and annual nominal price growth. This obviously presents a challenge to first home buyers, but what is the effect of these very high house prices on other New Zealanders? In terms of rent burden, we rank 6th, well above the OECD average. We know as the cost to purchase housing rises, landlords often pass this on to tenants as increased rent. How do high prices affect the cost of living for those who are able to overcome the barriers to entry to the housing market? This is where it gets interesting. The cost to service a mortgage, even with our extremely high prices, is actually roughly in line with the OECD average. This could be explained by low borrowing costs due to the good credit rating of our government and banks. Sadly though, for the lowest income New Zealanders, we do in fact lead the OECD in housing unaffordability, both for renters and homeowners. It's at this point when we're talking about the most vulnerable New Zealanders that the boomers' avocado toast story falls flat. These people are probably not wasting $23 a day on lunch at a cafe. But let's not write the boomers off too quickly. What if you can feasibly shave $23 a day from your spending? Can that get you anywhere in one of the hottest housing markets in the world? How many $23 avocado on toast with coffee do you need to give up to afford a house? On the left we have the number of days required with investing, and on the bottom we have the number of days required with just saving to reach a 10% deposit on the median house price across each of the regions of New Zealand represented by the bubbles. If you take the money that you save by not buying avocado on toast and put it straight into your passive ETF portfolio on Sharesies that earns roughly 10% per annum, in 10 years you could afford a 10% deposit on the average property in any area except Auckland. If you just left the money in your savings account, you would still be short for buying a property in Wellington, Tasman and Waikato regions. Obviously the avocado on toast is rather arbitrary, and most people probably don't have the same thing for lunch every day. What the numbers really represent is disposable income, so feel free to replace avocado in your mind with anything else that you spend $23 a day on that you could in theory do without. Take a look at the difference between Auckland and Southland. Even with investing, it will take you twice as long to save for a house in Auckland. Without investing, it will take you nearly 3 times as long. Investing is great for long-term financial goals. However, over the short term, the value of an investment portfolio can fluctuate. Therefore, it might make sense to move the money from your investment account into savings as the date of purchase becomes nearer, to give you certainty on the exact amount that you will have available. In the future, we will have more tips on how to safely invest, so stay tuned for that. So we've learned that New Zealand does in fact currently have very expensive house prices, both historically and especially when compared globally. We also have one of the highest costs to rent in the world, which is just another barrier to first home buyers. And for these reasons, we think that millennials are in fact quite hard done by the avocado toast meme. Having said that though, we think the meme tells an interesting story and perhaps presents a glimmer of hope to what a small spending change can actually achieve. There were some other bright spots as well. For example, despite the barriers to entry, once these challenges are overcome, we saw that New Zealand homeowners actually enjoy a relatively low cost to service their mortgage, roughly in line with the OECD average, despite the very high prices.
Hi, I'm Bilal.
And I'm Bevan.
We are the team from the Massey University Investment Room at Palmerston North.
We hope you enjoyed this episode and that it helps you on your journey towards financial well-being. Please give the video a like, leave us a comment and subscribe to our channel. And you can also find us on Facebook and Twitter for more financial capability content.